5 months ago I made a video about the GTA 6 strip club mission where Jason and Lucia are being introduced to Dre and Booby Ike, and 2 days after I dropped that video, trailer 2 dropped, confirming that all that information was true. And not only was it true, we got so much more information expanding upon that strip club mission. So in this video I wanted to make an update video revisiting what that mission exactly was, and now with all the new information that we have. So let's get right into it. Spoiler alert for people who don't want to know exact missions, but this is how the mission is going to go. The strip club mission in GTA 6 is basically Draquan Priest introducing Jason and Lucia to everybody in the strip club. And as we know from the 2022 clip, this dude is called Dre, but now we know him as Draquan Priest. What we know from Draquan is that he runs only raw records. So Draquan was always more of a hustler than a gangster. Even when he was dealing on the streets to make ends meet, breaking into music was the goal. So he never really wanted to shoot or kill or live kind of the Lamar Davis lifestyle. He just wanted to get into music. And so one of his quotes is, "Dancers are like my ANRs. If the record is a hit, DJ's gonna be spinning it." And there's one more paragraph about Draquan Priest that gives you a lot of insight about the rest of the overarching story of Grand Theft Auto 6, but I want to get to that a little bit later because that involves a character that Dre is about to introduce to Jason and Lucia. So Dre is introducing everybody into the club and saying that Jason and Lucia basically came around the right time because Dre and Booby are partnering up. Now, before we got trailer 2, we didn't know who Booby was, but now of course we have a detailed explanation of who this character is. His full name is Booby Ike, and he really looks like Rick Ross from this image. I made a video about how he really looks like that guy. And with Booby, it's all about the heart, the Jack of Hearts. Booby is a local Vice City legend and acts like it. One of the few to transform his time in the streets into a legitimate empire spanning real estate, a strip club, and a recording studio, which we now know from the leaks. Booby's all smile until it's time to talk business. So basically, Booby is the owner of the Jack of Hearts strip club where Jason and Lucia are at right now, which is a big part of the Vice City missions. And he's paying for the studio while Draquan Priest is gathering artists to record songs and obviously go viral. One of Booby's quotes is, "The club money pay for the studio and the drug money pay for it all," meaning that he's basically whitewashing the money in order to make it seem like this is a legitimate business. Which, if you know a little bit about rap history, you know that this was one of the big selling points for rappers to actually become rappers, because most of them were just drug sellers and then used things like studios, concerts, and things like that to whitewash all that money and seem like they are running legitimate businesses. And the website also talks about top quality cuts. Booby might seem like he's just out for himself, but it's his partnership with the young aspiring music mogul Draquan for Only Raw Records that he's most invested in. Now they just need a hit. And this is exactly why I wanted to save Draquan's last paragraph for right now, because Booby seems to have a lot of faith and almost a soft spot for Draquan. But listen here about Dre's plan. So the website says now that he's signed the real dimes, Draquan's days of booking acts into Booby's strip club might be numbered as he sets his sights on the Vice City scene. So basically, Dre wants to grow beyond Booby and kind of set him aside, probably making Booby feel used. And so now we're gonna have a whole big conflict. So maybe in GTA 6, the story with Jason and Lucia, they have to make a decision. Are we gonna kill Dre or are we gonna kill Booby? Maybe that is one of the decisions you have to make in the story. Now, if we continue the mission, Jason and Lucia have walked up the stairs and Dre is now talking to a DJ. And funny enough, the DJ is actually called Tit. So we have all kinds of names that are basically, you know, female body parts and kind of erotic jokes, so to say. And it feels like Tit is not taking Dre seriously, so he's kind of roasting him. But then Dre actually fires him. But then you have Tit saying, "Hey, when is your new song coming out, you know?" But Dre just keeps on walking. That kind of implies that Dre is kind of struggling to find people maybe, and we might even need to kind of cast and find the real dimes for Dre, so we're doing his dirty work for him. So then the big three, Jason, Lucia, and Dre, keep walking over to to a strip pole booth, and there we meet Sam, who is having a fight with his girlfriend because allegedly his girlfriend cheated on him, and Dre is basically saying chill, 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 it's all fine, and Sam responds with being fine is relative, with Dre then responding saying, man, Sam's straight from a movie. And then we see the actual reason why this whole clip was captured, recorded, and shared with the other developers, which is because Sam and his girlfriend are kind of glitching out at the end of that section. They're basically teleporting to like behind the couches that they're sitting on, and so basically the developer is trying to communicate to another developer like, hey, we're working on this and this is going wrong right now, so we need to fix this. So that gives us a lot of insight and additional insight with this new information. I personally love that there is this complicated storytelling going on, that every person has their own goals and their own ways of completing those goals. They have their own personality, and this is why I love GTA's writing, because it's not just some character for the purpose of getting from A to B as a story. No, these are complicated characters that are also very flawed, and things are always going just the wrong way. Now, of course, I've been showing you placeholders for what 2022 clips look like because they're copyrighted and Rockstar would take down my channel if I show them, but you can already see from the screenshots that they did officially publicized, and of course also the trailer moments, that this club looks absolutely insane. The character models of everybody, the hair, the clothing, even the lighting effects with the little sparkles here and there that we saw in trailer 1 and now in the screenshot has been revised and actually updated. Looks very cool. And one other thing that we know is that of course we can get into that club whenever we want to, but the club looks different depending on the day you go. You have the Sinful Sundays, you have the Make It Rain Mondays, and so there's different events, different people, different staff, different little signs that are being put up every day. And maybe we'll even see personnel take down signs and put them on again. Or maybe the club is closed and then when they're opening again, you see the new signs. So these are really cool details you can look out for when you go and play the game and then revisit the club at a later time. Now, we don't know how Jason and Lucia are getting into contact with Draquan, who then introduces them to basically the rest of Vice City. But I got a feeling it has something to do with this police officer right here and the fact that Jason and Lucia are basically being hunted by various factions that are at the moment for us right now kind of unknown about why they're actually fleeing and what's actually going on. But it probably has something to do with Jason and Lucia committing crimes and big robberies even though Lucia just got out of prison. Now it's time for them to flee, and the whole story is gonna be kind of like that, I feel like. Now in trailer 2 we also see a clip with Dre and Jason looking at their mobile phone, and we don't quite know what they're reacting to. The trailer alludes that they're reacting to Lucia blowing up these police vehicles, but I don't think that that is related at all. You know, in trailers, especially with movies and games, the chronological order is always all over the place to kind of throw you off. It might be this moment from trailer 1 where the real dimes are standing on the car making a music video, which is obviously now this upgraded screenshot. And by the way, talking about the real dimes, they have been glowing up. I mean, these character models and their kind of flair is really fun. I'm really curious to see what their deal is and what their personality is. Of course, they are probably these obnoxious rapping characters, kind of like Nicki Minaj or the City Girls or whoever they might be based upon. And we see, of course, Roxy not only in the screenshot but also having the bra 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 moment in trailer 2, where you see that her character is very exaggerated and out there. And I think we're gonna get a lot of comedy out of these characters, hopefully also a little bit of the emotional side, and see why they do what they do, what's going on in their brain. I'm really curious about all of that because that doesn't really get explored a lot, especially with female rappers. You don't really see any games or movies talk about this. I think. Maybe there are, but I haven't seen them. Now there is one more clip from 2022 footage to talk about, which is Lucia basically standing in front of the podium where all the strippers are doing their thing, and she's basically just walking through the strip club outside, and you can see a little bit of Vice City. Not much because it's very dark, and there's a lot of little things that you can get out of this. The first thing is that people will be greeting you because there's like a stranger that is greeting Lucia. Another little detail is that Lucia maybe bumps into people or people bump into Lucia, and it's not really like a big thing, it's just the motion of it and the animation of it that happens, but it adds a little bit more realism. Just like we've seen in trailer 2 where Jason is walking out of the grocery store and you see this woman kind of preventing to bump into Jason, which is a really nice detail that they've already put in way back in 2022. So yeah, that's basically the whole strip club mission and a little bit of free roam there at the end. So thank you guys for watching. What do you think of this whole mission, and what do you think? Give me a little bit of a theory about how this dynamic will go between Booby, Dre, maybe even Tit and the real Dimes, and how it will all interweave with the story of Jason and Lucia. I'm really curious to see your theories, and maybe I'll make a video about it and your comment will be highlighted in that video if you do have a great theory. So thank you all so much for watching. See you next time. Thank you for the members on screen right here. Love you all. Bye bye.